In section 3.1.21-T, the question says the following data to the right represent the pulse rates, beats per minute, of 9 students enrolled in a statistics course. And it's telling us that we're going to treat the 9 students as a population, and we're going to complete parts A to C. So here is the student's name, and then there's the pulse. So again, there's 9 students, and that's what it tells us into the problem. So we're going to determine the population mean pulse. So remember that the symbol for the population mean is mu, since we're treating this as a population. So we take all the pulse rates, which are 9, and we're going to add them up in the numerator and divide it by 9, and therefore, rounded to 1 decimal place, the population mean is approximately 78.8 beats per minute. Now in part B, we want to be able to determine the sample mean pulse of the following 2 simple random samples of size 3. So the first sample, which is sample 1, has Jeff, Jeanette, and Kathy. So here we have Jeff, who has a pulse rate of 80. We have Jeanette, which has a pulse rate of 80. And we have Kathy, who has a pulse rate of 73. So here we have the sample mean denoted with X bar, and since with sample 1 we're putting a 1 here, so we take 80 plus 80 plus 73, and we're dividing it by 3 because that's how many are in this sample, and we get approximately 77.7. Therefore, the mean pulse of sample 1 is approximately 77.7 beats per minute. Now in sample 2, we have Clarice Jefferson, which is 80 pulse rate. You have Kevin McCarthy, which has a 78 pulse rate. And we have Megan, which is at 92 pulse rate. So now we're using X bar with a 2 to represent sample 2. And we have 92 plus 80 plus 78 and dividing that by 3. And we get approximately 83.3 beats per minute for the sample mean of 2. Now in part C, we want to be able to determine if the means of samples 1 and 2 overestimate, underestimate, or are equal to the population mean. Now a sample mean overestimates the population mean if it is greater than the population mean. A sample mean underestimates the population mean if it is less than the population mean. So let's take a look at sample 1. 77.7 is less than 78.8, which means that the sample mean 1 is less than the population mean. So therefore, the mean pulse rate of sample 1 underestimates the population mean pulse rate because the sample mean is less than the population mean. Now, for sample 2, 83.3 is greater than 78.8. So therefore, the sample mean for sample 2 is greater than the population mean. So therefore, the mean pulse rate of sample 2 overestimates the population mean pulse rate because the sample mean is greater than the population mean.